So previously we have seen all the things here and how we created everything I told you. Now we are moving to the Ajax part here. Ajax is asynchronous JavaScript you can say, or you can say the deployment part here. So it's a asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It's not a programming language, it's a programming technique more. While developing any JavaScript or JSP, Ajax is a set of web development technologies or techniques using web technologies use client-side created asynchronous applications. So why I am using here asynchronous method? Why I am not using synchronous method? Let us consider two clients putting the request or blog or you can say complaint anything on my page simultaneously. They both can get error, so I need to maintain two processes different as a asynchronous part. So I need here asynchronous part here. I don't want to create synchronized methods here, so I created one synchronous. I want to create asynchronous part, so I'm using here Ajax. So web application can send and retrieve data from server asynchronously without interfering or display the behavior of existing page, because I don't want to change the behavior of that page. So just add that asynchronously. So this is the what you can say file, or you can say flow chart of Ajax working from the browsers and events occurs. Create an XML HTTP file, send HTTP request to the internet. Server will take care of this, and when it will create one response through the internet, the browser will be written or the process will be written using JavaScript and update the page content. So that's it. Inside this I'm using Ajax, going to use Ajax. So Ajax is basically asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It's not a programming language. I'm again telling it's a programming technique to create asynchronous methods. So let us move to the IDE. So I created few more things here with login process, which is nothing but for the login using email and each passwords with some file here system and everything I'm going to create. Then logout for the logout JSP, everything I'm going to create. Logon is for the logout, I'm going to use just session invalidate. It will throw to the front page only. Then this is create, I created open post. So let me show you where I use Ajax. So these are all the Ajax things I'm using while creating objects, putting in the this type and putting and printing that part. So that's a Ajax thing I'm going to use here. It's very little thing I'm using this while creating the open post. Also I mentioned this XML HTTP server to put this Ajax find. As you can see, find name, each and everything I'm using here Ajax. So that's very little thing. Let us see what is these things and what the thing here specify is. Basically it's a load document file with some XML HTTP. You can directly embed it this, and you can create the change content, everything here you can put this. So that's it about how I'm going to create. But it's a XML HTTP request object. So if you know the object, what is the object? It can be used to exchange data between the server behind the scenes. XML HTTP request object. So you can use this object to request the data, and it means it says the possible update parts of pages without actually reloading the page, or we can say hold the page. It will reload that part only. So that's a asynchronous part. So there are different methods in different things using this. You have to check there, but best thing is it's access across the domains. No need to change the domain. If you have same domain you can use this, or if you change the domain Ajax remains same. So for the newer things you have to use new HTTP request things, everything. Abort method you need to create. Then there is open method also, send method also you need to create. So that's all about thing you can create. But remember about the 4 status, or you can say 3 status there are. Basically 200 is for okay, 403 for forbidden, and 404 for not found for Ajax thing. So if you know this, you are good to go to create Ajax logic here. So that's it about how I created Ajax logic. So let me show you some more thing here. I created one post to mention this. Again, this is again some Ajax logic, and I'm adding some thing here. So just remember these things. That's I used to mention this. I just found some two locations as Ghaziabad and Itwa from Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh to put this, and I found this on the internet, Modi Nagar and Mohan Nagar. I just added random things here. I don't want to mention focus on that part. If you want to create for your own location, you can add that. Then email ID, everything I'm going to mention here. So that's it how I created. Let me show you one more thing here. Register JSP. So this is it how I'm going to create. Register process I need to mention here. So this is it how I'm going to create, but in further more things I'm going to show you how I can perform these actions. So we already created one my listener to deploy that web pages. Then this status is for the showing the status, like there is error or everything I'm putting inside this part only. So due to time constraint, I already typed everything and I'm going to show you this while development or deployment. In later part, I will tell you how I can perform these actions. But before proceeding with this, let me add 2-3 files here first. So this is it how I can create, but you need to create one test part also, upload part also. So let me go with the login process here. Okay. So now what is these things I'm going to mention here. So these are the Java, and you need to mention this Corba. Corba is basically for the Oracle development. You can find on the internet what is the thing here, and public member for the public part. So I'm creating username, I'm accepting, and user pass for the user passing method, and boolean to create one status. Then I'm going to create Oracle, and I'm going to create, and I'm mentioning the select part. So once this is done, I can print hi in my command prompt to get that connection is done. Once this is done, it will attribute set email to email username, and it will ask me for the sign in first. If I'm not directly, it will print me username and password does not exist. It will print or throw me from that page, which is basically login page, to the index page. Then logout JSP, as I told you, I'm create here already. I already created this part. So this is it how I'm mentioning this, but remember, while developing the my listener, you can say I already created this part, so it will fetch that data from that part only, and it will give me everything here. So you can use this select everything, you can use replace execute update, you can do here. So that's it how I created this my listener, which I already mentioned, but okay, so there are some things also required here, because while developing this, before insert each row, you can see this, you can see I created from dual or everything. These are all the PLSQL thing here I added to create triggers. Similarly, for the login process, it will happen like that. Logout is very simple. Once I click that logout, it will session invalidate message, it will print. Then let us see open post here. What is the open post thing I'm mentioning here, and why I'm putting this again and again? While posting this, I need to create one SQL thing here. So why the SQL is very important here? Because I'm going to add it to my SQL thing. So let me, I forgot to change this here, which is basically pass 1 2 3. So this will add it to my direct SQL page while I am posting this part. So upper part will be remain similar, but after changing this part, it will move to the another part. So this is open post theme, which will fetch your post, the mentioning your, if you adding image, you can add the image also here, so you can do that. Then I created open t post for opening this t post, and you can see I added this. So I also again forgot to change here one thing, basically this thing. If you are having another thing, you can change that. Now let me explain this first. What are these things? So I am adding this XHTML everything here. These are the functions I'm adding to the JavaScript. I'm adding this, so this is very important what I'm going to create. If I'm putting please enter some text, if I'm adding, it will find the names to the JSP. As this is XML HTTP request, window XML HTTP request, it's an Ajax thing. What is the Ajax thing? I told you earlier that I don't want to load or reload the file again. I'm going to reload just that window again if name is found or something like that. If not, it will unable to connect the server, it will print me that error. So that's it about how I'm going to put this. So I just want to display that name after finding the name without reloading the full file, because why it takes time to reload everything, as this is localhost only. I can perform this further more, but while developing this I can use Ajax. Similarly, for the post I created, header JSP, everything I mentioned. Register JSP is again similar for the registering these files, everything. Registration process is again similar. I already mentioned this part. Then status JSP is again similar, which is going to show me the status here. As you can see, this is SQL file. So always remember, you need to mention your SQL with Oracle and everything neatly, because sometimes like this it will throw the error for me. So let me save this. So this is it who I'm going to mention in the next part, which is the last part, I guess. So in that part I'm going to mention you everything, how I'm going to specify the files and each and everything in the later part. So this is it about all the things, and in the further part I'm going to put everything.